You do not know where death awaits you, so be ready for it everywhere. He who has learned to die has unlearned slavery. We die every day. For every day a little of our life is taken from us. What man can you show me who places any value on his time, who reckons the worth of each day, who understands that he is dying daily? For we are mistaken when we look forward to death. The major portion of death has already passed. Whatever years lie behind us are in death's hands. For life is granted to us with the reservation that we shall die. To this end our path leads. None of us is the same man in old age that he was in youth, nor the same on the morrow as on the day preceding. Our bodies are hurried along like flowing waters. But the universe, too, immortal and enduring as it is, changes and never remains the same. For though it has within itself all that it has had, it has it in a different way from that in which it has had it. It keeps changing its arrangement. And what is death? It is either the end or a process of change. Death either annihilates us or strips us bare. If we are then released, there remains the better part, after the burden has been withdrawn. If we are annihilated, nothing remains. Good and bad alike are removed. Why do you voluntarily deceive yourself and require to be told now for the first time what fate it is that you have long been laboring under? We must ponder this thought, and thoughts of the like nature, if we desire to be calm as we await that last hour, the fear of which makes all previous hours uneasy. How foolish is it to fear it, since men simply await that which is sure, but fear only that which is uncertain. Death has its fixed rule, equitable and unavoidable. Who can complain when he is governed by terms which include everyone? The chief part of equity, however, is equality. We do not fear death, we fear the thought of death. For death itself is always the same distance from us. Wherefore, if it is to be feared at all, it is to be feared always. For what season of our life is exempt from death? No evil is great, which is the last evil of all. Death arrives. It would be a thing to dread, if it could remain with you. But death must either not come at all, or else must come and pass away. Take anyone off his guard, young, old, or middle-aged. You will find that all are equally afraid of death, and equally ignorant of life. No one has anything finished because we have kept putting off into the future all our undertakings. Death is so little to be feared that through its good offices nothing is to be feared. No man can have a peaceful life who thinks too much about lengthening it. Most men ebb and flow in wretchedness between the fear of death and the hardships of life. They are unwilling to live, and yet they do not know how to die. For this reason, make life as a whole agreeable to yourself by banishing all worry about it. No good thing renders its possessor happy unless his mind is reconciled to the possibility of loss. But a man cannot stand prepared for the approach of death if he has just begun to live. We must make it our aim already to have lived long enough. No one deems that he has done so if he is just on the point of planning his life. You need not think that there are few of this kind. Practically everyone is of such a stamp. Some men, indeed, only begin to live when it is time for them to leave off living. And if this seems surprising to you, I shall add that which will surprise you still more. Some men have left off living before they have begun. And what is baser than getting ready to live when you are already old? What a noble thing it is to round out your life before death comes, and then await in peace the remaining portion of your time, claiming nothing for yourself, since you are in possession of the happy life. When you shall know that time means nothing to you, when you shall be peaceful and calm, careless of the morrow, because you are enjoying your life to the full. Would you know what makes men greedy for the future? It is because no one has yet found himself. That man is happiest and is secure in his own possession of himself, who can await the morrow without apprehension. When a man has said, "I have lived," every morning he arises, he receives a bonus. But when death comes to meet him, no one welcomes it cheerfully, except the man who has long since composed himself for death. A man who sluggishly awaits his fate is almost a coward. When I have death in my own control, shall I take orders from her? That I shall not abandon old age, if old age preserves me intact for myself, and intact as regards the better part of myself. But if old age begins to shatter my mind, and to pull its various faculties to pieces, if it leaves me not life, but only the breath of life, I shall rush out of a house that is crumbling and tottering. I shall not avoid illness by seeking death, as long as the illness is curable and does not impede my soul. I shall not lay violent hands upon myself just because I am in pain, for death under such circumstances is defeat. Do you, however, always think on death, in order that you may never fear it, to depart calmly when the inevitable hour arrives.